I just want to know what do you have for a handbell program? And so I said, well, I have me and three or four people that just try to ring the melody of the hymns. Never have been able to get a choir together to do the kind of music that you're going to hear today. So I said, well, why don't we do a community? She said, that's exactly what I was thinking. So it's been exciting to learn and meet these new musicians that come to us from the Methodist Church and St. Peter's Church and our church, and we hope this is the start of something big and something that we do every year. One of those 4 or 5 women that was always willing to ring was Anna Stewart. And Anna loved bells, and even on that primitive level where all we were doing was ringing the melody, she's like, isn't this just so much fun? And she has gone on to the Bells in Heaven, and so we wanted to dedicate this concert to her. She was a lover of music and a lover of nature and a lover of people. And so in that spirit, we welcome you to our concert today. One little piece of business that we need to take care of. If you have a cell phone, if you would reach and cut it off, then it won't disturb anybody. And if you need some assistance with your hearing, we do have listening devices that will enhance the audio experience for you. And right back there at the wall is Dave Walzak, and he'll be glad to hook you up. And so without any further ado, welcome. We are so happy to have you here at First Presbyterian Church, and I think you're in store for a wonderful program.
Welcome, everybody, to our concert this afternoon. My name is Fritz Rohde, and I'm one of the bell ringers. I've been ringing bells for about 12 years now with St. Peter's United Methodist Church. Why do I ring bells? Well, I love music, and sadly, I don't sing that well. I have trouble hitting the right notes, but with my bell, it comes out pure and right every time. The bells are made out of cast bronze and fitted with a hinge clapper, and each bell is a specific note, which corresponds to one of the black or white keys on a keyboard. You've already heard the smaller bells make the higher notes, and the larger bells make the lower notes. And together we combine to make a human keyboard where each person rings several notes and has to juggle 2 to 4 bells each time. And we do more than just ring. We like to make other sounds and rhythms while we're up here. So we use something like a mallet, I have in my hand here, to turn ourselves into a human xylophone. Our next song is a well-known hymn, All Creatures of Our God and King. It was inspired by a poem by St. Francis of Assisi, the well-known patron saint of the environment and animals. In fact, he so loved the creatures that he was known to preach to the birds. This song celebrates nature. This is something that I can really relate to because in my real life, outside of ringing, I am an ichthyologist or a fish scientist. And for the past 40 plus years, I've been studying and photographing the fishes in North Carolina, literally from the abyss off Cape Lookout to the mountains in western North Carolina. There's no place that I'd rather be than in or near water. And this song captures that well. The glow of the sun, the rising of the moon, the wind, the clouds, and my favorite verse, thou flowing water, pure and clear, make music for thy Lord to hear.
good afternoon. My name is Brenda Faber, and as Sunny said, this is Crystal Coast Community Handbells. I have to admit that the whole concept of this community handbells has been kind of a grand experiment this spring. You see, handbells, particularly in this area, are typically associated with churches. But the last couple years have been a bit of a challenge for church music programs. There have been hurricanes and illness, and loss of leadership, and oh yeah, that thing called COVID, right? But a lot of our churches have really been struggling to kind of restart and re-energize their music program. But where there's a challenge, there's opportunity, right? So what if we could start reaching out to each other a little bit more? And what if we could come together to share friendship and talent and equipment? And what if all that is just a good excuse to get together and make great music together? Win-win. It's been a blast, a real blast. And I really like to think that what has evolved here with us over the past couple months is going to result in new energy for all our handbell programs. So I particularly want to send thanks to Grace Presbyterian in Beaufort, who gave us our first start over Christmas at this concept. And then I'd like to thank First Presbyterian and Sunny Gale Ballou, who totally got the concept in about 2 seconds. Like she said, I didn't even finish my first sentence and she was saying, oh, but we've got bells and we've got rehearsal space and you could do a concert. I'd also like to recognize St. Peter's Methodist. You'll be hearing from Chrissy Hanna here in just a second. And First Methodist Morehead City. Both of those churches have generously let us use some of their equipment, some of the bigger bells here and some of the smaller bells up here. So, now back to the music. Next are some classical favorites. You'll hear a little bit of Handel, a little bit of Beethoven. Enjoy.
morning, everyone.
Or afternoon.
Afternoon now, right? Oh, here it is. My name is Chrissy Hanna, and I am the music director at St. Peter's United Methodist Church. A couple of months ago, Brenda gave a shout out and said, hey, I want to start this thing. And I love music. There's nothing more in this world that I love. So, of course, I was in like Flynn, man. So, when I started this, I did not anticipate the opportunities that my church would have just by doing this. We have a bell choir at my church, and I do direct that, but we've never had the chance to try chimes. And Sunny Gale so graciously let us borrow their chimes for the last month, and we were able to introduce chimes to our church. And I cannot tell you the comments that we got from that. Everyone was so amazed that we're getting chimes. Woo woo. So for this song in particular, you've heard happiness this entire time. This song called Ah Holy is not a cheerful song. This is a song that speaks to the death of Jesus. After Jesus died, imagining the pain, the angst that people felt. That was the word that hit me, the angst that people felt, the followers of Christ. So as you listen to this, you're going to hear something that hits your soul a little bit different. This song is not what you would constitute a pretty song. This song hits you in the depths of your soul in such a way where you're like, man, if any of you have ever seen Passion of the Christ, when I sat in the theater and I watched that movie, I cried like a little girl because you hear the story. Every year you hear how Jesus died, but when it's put in your face, that's the moment when it becomes real. It became real to me that day. So as we do this, I would ask that you just close your eyes. I invite you, just close your eyes and hear the sadness, the sorrow, the anger even, because these people had followed this man for 3 years. And they had taken him away. They thought he was the Messiah. He was going to save us all. But they didn't know what way he was going to save us all. So as we listen to this, I would like to introduce you to Angela Jovanovic. She's our violinist today. Man, when we heard her play for the first time, it brought chills all the way down. So you're going to hear, as you're listening, this is the bells tolling and chiming all over the land, just letting people know that Jesus was gone. So I invite you to enjoy this. Just close your eyes if you want, and just listen to this song.
Good afternoon. My name is Keenan Schmann. Thank you for all being here today. Got to take a deep breath after that one. We are again fortunate to have the beautiful pipe organ behind you accompany us for the next piece, and more so to have Sunny Gale Ballou as the accompanist. She is multi-talented and is to be commended for her untiring support of the Handbell Choir. Sunny, we all want you to know that we care for you and really respect you. Thank you so much. This next piece of music offers us hope, comfort, and peace. As you listen, maybe again, close your eyes. Breathe deeply and go to your special place. Maybe a place outdoors, looking up at the clear night sky, in the forest, or on a mountaintop, or maybe at the beach, taking in the sights, sounds, and aroma of the sea, wherever that place may be for you. For me, I grew up in southern Minnesota, and when I was a boy of about 10 or so, in the summertime I would cross over our country gravel road in front of our house and go to a hill where there was tall grass and clover. My eyes would be drawn up to the variety of white billowing clouds overhead, and soon I found myself lying on my back, disappearing in the vegetation, watching in awe as the invisible breeze constantly moved and changed the view above. I was enjoying the quiet too, for you see, I have 4 younger sisters. I love them dearly, but this was indeed my special place. As the clouds gently changed, I was transported to a place of calm and peace. I always felt so very close to the source of those clouds. And in those moments, I wondered and contemplated about a great many things. So may this music help to transport you to your special place. This is, I will lift mine eyes unto the hills.
there it is. We're going to take just a little break. While we're taking that break, two things are going to happen. One is our very own amazing Constance Sowers and Sunny Gelbaloo are going to entertain you with a piano organ duet. The other thing that's going to happen is our ushers are going to come forward and we're going to pass a donation plate. Half of what you contribute today will go towards covering our expenses for this concert and supporting the music program, the handbell program here at First Presbyterian. But I'm really excited to tell you that the other half will go to benefit the Crystal Coast Hospice House here in Carteret County. If you don't know anything about this organization, please turn to the back of your program and read a little bit about it. It's just fabulous. A couple years ago, a group of us was invited to come do a short concert at the Hospice House facility in Newport. So we set up stands right inside the front doors. But all of the patient rooms are way back along the back of the facility, way out of sight of those front doors. The idea was that if people didn't want to be disturbed, they could close their doors. But if patients or family were interested in hearing the music, then they could open their doors, their choice. We played to an empty lobby. Not a single person in our audience could we see. No applause, no smiles and handshakes and good jobs. Just this incredible, incredible peace and overwhelming silence after every piece. It was moving, to say the least. Can you tell? Yeah. Sometimes it can be super powerful when you give your best and don't really know how it will be received. So, be generous, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Our next piece is called Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho, and it's arranged for handbells by Kevin McChesney. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So everybody knows this, and I think it's one of the most well-known spirituals out there. I want to encourage you all to do as I did, which is go to YouTube and see some famous performances. There's Mahalia Jackson, Mormon Tabernacle Choir, Elvis, Bing Crosby. There's just all sorts of people trying this thing, and it's wonderful. Wear your headphones. Of course, this is a Old Testament story of the Israelites attempting to take the fortress city of Jericho, and their leader Joshua has heard from God directly. March around that city, raise your voices, play your trumpets loudly, and the city will fall. Of course, that's become, the walls come tumbling down, and maybe that actually happened. Imagine yourself there. I imagine myself there, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll do this marching, but shouldn't we be making some catapults or inventing gunpowder or something? You know, it's actually, I believe, a story of faith and determination. That's what it is. It may not be literally true, but that doesn't matter. What matters is faith and determination. You know, this song was composed by black slaves in our country, the United States, in the early 1800s, and many think it's an allegory for their aspirations and dreams of freedom and a future for their children too. And you have to realize that this was decades before the Civil War and emancipation. Talk about faith and determination, right? So, I forgot what I'm going to say. What am I going to say? I'm turning 70 really soon, so I forget stuff. I forget stuff like this. Anyways, we're going to attempt this piece. It's pretty complicated, but we love it, and it's got a great catchy rhythm. And maybe here in the year 2000, early 2000s, 200 years after this thing was composed, maybe we can find our own faith and determination and tumble down a few walls that remain.
made it through it. Is this on? You can hear me okay? Okay. Well, we hope you're having a memorable experience. We certainly are. Thank you again for being here today. Our next piece is the artistic You Raise Me Up, with accompaniment by Brennan Coonan, who's setting up right now. Thank you, Brennan, for being here. This well-known set of lyrics and music was made popular in the United States by Josh Groban starting in 2003. Many thought, as I did, that he wrote and composed the music for this piece. However, in preparing for this moment, I found out that it was composed and written in 2002 by the dual team Secret Garden. Music was by Norway's Rolf Loveland and lyrics by Ireland's Brendan Graham. Brian Kennedy did the first vocals for this wonderful piece. Josh performed You Raise Me Up at the 2004 Super Bowl as part of a one-year commemoration ceremony for the crew of the Columbia Space Shuttle disaster. This was truly a moving and inspirational moment. You may find it on YouTube if you would like to view it. It certainly is recommended. Some of the lyrics include the following. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. These are forever words and lasting music. The words are from the heart. The music moves the heart, and together they are indeed strong. This is You Raise Me Up.
Our next piece is I Want Jesus to Walk With Me. It's arranged for handbells by Tammy Waldrop. And I'm not going to be telling you the story of my life like some of my friends here, but I am going to talk about some of the technique we're going to use. This composition is supposed to be light and jazzy, and that's one of the reasons I like it. It's actually my favorite amongst all of these pieces, so we're going to try real hard. Here in the bass bells, we're going to be using, or I should have said the low bells, we're going to be using mallets again to represent the string bass or the upright bass in a jazz club. Here on my right, the high bells will be using a technique called thumb damping. And thumb damping means you put your thumb on the casing of the bell as you ring it. And it actually makes a kind of a clicking sound, but there is a tone, of course, because the bells are tuned. And that's supposed to represent finger snapping, yeah? And if all goes well, we'll have a jazzy experience here. And, well, I think that's all I have to say.
I'm glad that song's over. My heart's going pitter-pat. Anyway, coming into our last selection, I really want to thank you for coming here today. I hope you enjoyed the music as much as we enjoyed ringing it. The last selection is something that we all know and love extremely well. The lyrics were inspired by a view at Pikes Peak in Colorado. Back in 1893, I forgot part of my stuff. Yeah, thank you. Back in 1893, a young poet, Catherine Lee Bates, was teaching English at Colorado College in nearby Colorado Springs. And she and some friends decided to go up to Pikes Peak one day, and she wrote this about her experience. One day, some of the other teachers and I decided to go on a trip to 14,000-foot Pikes Peak. We hired a prairie wagon. Near the top, we had to leave the wagon and go the rest of the way on mules. I was very tired, but when I saw the view, I felt great joy. All the wonders of America seemed displayed there with the sea-like expanse. On the pinnacle that day, a poem started coming to her. And then that evening in her hotel room, she put pen to paper and wrote the poem that was published in 1895, and she called it Pikes Peak. Several people tried to put it to music, but it never took. And then Samuel A. Ward, who was an organist and choir master, composed a hymn that fit the lyrics so well. And he published it in 1910 as America the Beautiful. I have 6 different things to handle here, so just wait a second. That's not mine. Don't know. We'll go with it.
like to tell Sunny Gale just how much we appreciate her.
Surprise for our conductor. This is for you. We love you.